Hello soulmates, welcome back again to my DIY channel where I teach you how you can make your lovely female dresses just like what you're seeing on the screen. So today I will be teaching you how you can make this lovely Bubu dress for yourself. If you're new here, you're welcome. Kindly please subscribe to this channel, turn on your notification bell, like, comment below where you're watching this video from. Let's get into it. This is the Adire print I'll be using for this tutorial. I'll place it on my table now. As you can see, I already placed it, and this is unfold on the shoulder area, whereby I'll be cutting both the sleeve and the bodice together. If you've watched most of my previous videos on how to cut a Bubu gown, you will understand better. So I will encourage you to go and watch it. So I'll take my shoulder to shoulder measurement. For the neck depth, I'll take 3 inches, while for the shoulder to shoulder is 8 inches. So the remaining part of the XX will be for the sleeve. So I'll take that now. From there, whatever you have, you outline it. That's where the sleeve will be. So now I'll take my neck depth. The neck depth I'm working with is 3 inches for the front, and again 1 inches for the back neck depth. And this is just for a guide before cutting the real neckline. From the shoulder line, I'll take my measurement to the chest line, which is 9 inches, and then I'll be adding extra half of an inch, making it 9.5 inches. I'll outline that. I'll also be using this same particular measurement for the sleeve opening, which is 9 inches for the actual measurement and half of an inch for sewing allowance. From this center part, I'll go in by the circumference measurement of the bust, dividing it into 4. Whatever you have there, you add extra sewing allowance to it. I want mine to be bogus. I want it to be wide. If you don't want it to be wide, you can use 2 to 3 inches extra added up to the to the measurement. So I will be adding extra 5 inches, which will make it 15 inches. This includes both the sewing allowance. Note is from the chest line. That's where you'll be taking the measurement from. So I'll outline it now from the from the sleeve opening downwards to that place where I just outlined. So I'll curve it now using my pattern master to do that, so it is looking curvy on the underarm hole. After doing that, the next thing I'll do, I'll transfer the same 15 inches to the down part, from just like what I did for the upper side. So I will then outline it using a straight ruler, as you can see me doing here. So after outlining that, I'll cut it out. Now, after doing that, this is the main focus, which is the neckline, where we're going to be adding the design. So I'll cut out this back neck depth now to the neck width, as you can see, which is 1 inches. Remember, we're not going to be stitching the shoulder line. So I will notch this part, this center part, I will notch it using the scissors, and then I'll spread it out like so. Can you see that? So this is both for the front and the back. Right here I have Ipele, popularly known in Nigeria as Ofi, which is used mostly for gele, headgear, for any outfits. This is what I'll be using for this design. So this here I have it on fold. So when you widen it, it's 6.5 inches, while on fold is 3.25 of an inch. So now I'll start by measuring from this center front. This is the front neckline now I'm working with. So remember, the chest line is 9 inches, which is also the underarm hole, where the underarm hole is. So right now I'll be adding extra inches to this to make the design. So I'll take the measurements now from the shoulder line. I'll go again from the shoulder line downwards to wherever I want it to be. So I want mine to be on the upper waistline, which is from the shoulder line downwards. It's going to be 16 inches. Now note that you can use any length of your choice. You can use 20 inches, you can use 12 inches, depends on how the length of your ofi is. So what I am using is enough to go round, because I'm going to be taking it round. Is enough to go round. So on this part, I'll be going in by 2.5 inches. As you can see, I'll outline it here. I'll also outline it there. So I'll connect it now from this chest line, I'll connect it to the down part, and also make sure whatever you're outlining on this area is visible so you don't make any mistake while you're cutting it out. So from the shoulder line, as you can see me doing using a straight ruler or your pattern master, you connect it directly to that chest line, to the 2.5 inches. Remember, the shoulder line is 3 inches while this line here is 2.5 inches. I hope you understand better now. So I'll also add 1/4 inch on the down part for sewing allowance, and I'll take my scissors and cut it from that end there to the shoulder line. Now from the center back, after cutting the front part out, from the center neck depth, you take your measuring tape, going around it like so, as you can see me doing. You go exactly to that 16 inches point, you can see it. So you go below this 1/4 inch for the sewing allowance. After taking the whole measurement, I have 18 inches in total. So I'll take this off now, and then I'll go in by 18 inches times 2. Remember, the fabric is still unfold. So by the time you open it, you get 18 inches times 2, which I already measured on the fabric, and then you add extra allowance to it. I will be adding 1 inches on both sides, which will make it 2 inches excess. So I'll get the actual measurement I may need, which is 40 inches in length. I'll cut it out now. After cutting it out, I will get the midpoint. This is the midpoint of this ofi now. Remember, it is unfold, so you get the midpoint as well, which is the rough edges where you knot the folded area this time. So you notch it and then you place it on the center back of your Bubu gown. You can see the way I'm doing it. So you notch it. After notching it, you place it on the same center back, and then you place it on the right side of your fabric like so, just the way you see me doing it. You pin it down from one part of the center back to the other part. So you pin both areas down, and then you notch that 1/4 inch, which is this part here. You notch it before sewing it. It's advised to notch it before sewing so you don't mess up the lines and it does not look hanging after sewing. So I will sew it now and come back and show you all. So this is it after sewing it. You can see how lovely this is looking. This is the front. You can see how it's already giving the shape after placing it on it. So it's advisable you pin it down before stitching it. So now flip it up to the other side. Now this is the wrong side. You can see I stitched it down using 1/2 inch for the stitching. So on this part here where I notched earlier, I will be notching it together with the ofi where I just stitched. You can see how I'm doing it. You do it likewise to this other side. I'm doing this because I'm going to be flipping this the ofi to the wrong side, and I'm going to be covering it up with this 1/4 inch I outlined the other time for the sewing allowance, so it will be covering it. That is why I'll be stitching on it. So now you overlap it after bringing it out to the wrong side like so. It should be looking like this. So you now overlap it. You overlap these two pieces together, and then you overlap it on top of the 1/4 inch. Remember the fabric, the 1/4 inch. So this 3 is on top of each other now, while the fabric is covering these two pieces. So I hope you understand what I just explained. So I'll pin it down now, securing it down. So I'll flip it again to the right side. You can see how it is here. So it should be looking like this after pinning it down, so you can, secure it. So this particular ofi will be overlapping on each other like so before placing the fabric on it. You can see how it is. So you can give it a good press using your iron to do that before stitching it down so you don't make any mistake. For the chest line, which is the chest opening, as you can see on the screen, depending on how low you want it to be, for me I will be going with the 9 inches. Let me just go by 10 inches. So I'll subtract that from the 16 inches I went down from. Remember, it's 16 inches this is, so I will be subtracting 6 inches away from it now. So that is where I will start my stitch from, which is the sewing part of it. So I'll stitch it, I'll overlap this now, I'll stitch it down before stitching the fabric on it, which is the 1/4 of an inch. So I'll pin this down now. So I'll secure this down from that point there. So it's best to measure it before, stitching it, so you don't make any mistake. So stitch here. I don't know if you can see this. You stitch it down with that 3/4 of an inch. Can you see that? You stitch it down here after stitching the main outfit down. So you stitch here, you stitch it here now. As you can see, you stitch it on this 1/4 of an inch, and then you flip it over again like so. You can see how that is very simple. So once I'm done stitching the neck design out, I'll come to this part, which is the sleeve part now. Here I'm having 3 1/4 unfold, so I'll be cutting this into 2. I'll place it on this on the right side like so of the sleeve as a design. So this is 3 1/4 of an inch in total, so I'll cut it into 2. Here is unfold, so I'll be cutting this and then I'll use it as a design to design this fabric. So after cutting it, this is what I have here. You can see, so I'll place it like so on the wrong side. I'll sew it straight line with like 1/4 of an inch, and then I'll also be placing it on the fabric. So here is it after stitching it, and you can see how lovely it is looking. You can see I placed it on each other with the exact same thread, color of the thread. You can see how neatly and well sewn it is. If you have a pressing iron, you can press it down to secure it so it is looking beautiful. You can see what I did for this sleeve part is I stitched it. You can see the way I stitched it. This is the right side now, and this is the other side of the sleeve. So I'll just be explaining shortly. As you can see how neat this edges is, which is the wrong side. So what I did is I stitched it like so, and then afterwards you can see how the stitching is invisible here. So I will then top stitch it. You can see I'll top stitch the fabric itself, and then I'll flip it. You can see how it is. I'll flip it on the right side. This is the right side now. Automatically I'm covering the stitch, so I'll then place it like so with another 1/4 of an inch, so it is looking this way. You can see how it is. At the end of the day, you'll be having 2.5 inches afterwards. So I'll fold this now. You can see after I'm done with every other thing, with the design, to get where the pocket will be. If you don't already know how to cut a pocket, you can watch most of my previous videos on that. I have a lot of tutorials on that. So to get the pocket lines now, I will need to make sure this is looking accurately from the shoulder line downwards. So you outline it from the shoulder line. You make sure you take your measuring tape like so. I will be going with 17 inches. So you notch that area, or you outline it using your chalk, and then you place it like so. This is the pocket now. You place it. You make sure the pocket is sewn into it. So from the sleeve opening, afterwards, after sewing your pocket into your dress, from the sleeve opening you go in by 1/2 of an inch. You connect it with the with your pocket like so, and then you go down to the end of the slit where you want your slit to begin, and then you turn it round. And that will be all for this episode. I hope you enjoyed this video so far. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, kindly do so. Subscribe to my channel. Please like, comment where you're watching this video from, and also do not forget to turn on your notification bell to get notified each time I upload new videos, guys. Bye. God bless you.